So first of all, we're capitalizing black, right? Capitalizing the B in black, right? When we say black Americans. So how do we get the term black Americans? How do we get to define ourselves here in this North Country as black Americans? Some say these terms were given to us. Well, who gave it to us? Right? If we study the history of what our people, right, who was brought over here, there was some of our people who were over here, but our people who was brought over here in the trans-Ethiopian slave trade. In fact, the term Ethiopian, going back to the time of the ancient Greeks, was a term for black. Right? It went from Ethiopian, right? Then it went to the term Moor, right? The term Moor came after the term Ethiopian for black, right? And in the time of the Romans, between the Moors, right? Moor to identify as black, and the term Ethiopian came the term nigger or Niger, right? We have that in the Bible. Right? We have that term in the Bible. Let's go there first of all. Now, in this video, we're going to say the origin of black, the term black, when we identify ourselves as black people, actually wasn't in the 60s, right? The 60s, late 60s is when it became popular. So if you thank ones like Kwame Ture, aka Stokely Carmichael, at that civil rights rally. It's on video where he basically says it. Right? Martin Luther King Jr. was supposed to show up, but he didn't show up. They was waiting for him. And then Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture, he took the stage and he started talking about black power. And that's when the term became what they say today, viral. Right? That's when the term became viral. Right? And then from the late 60s into the 70s, and then Reverend Jesse, I think Jesse L. Jackson, yeah. Want to hail up to Doggy Diamonds. Hail up Doggy Diamonds. Check out Doggy Diamonds' platform on the Fat Joe and the FBA issue. Please check it out. He goes into much more detail, right, about who invented, right, these musical forms, such as hip hop. Right, we can go back to other musical forms in America as well. Right, the Germans do some very good documentaries, and ironically, many of the documentaries actually give the true context, right, of black culture, right, in these nowadays times. I'm talking about post Nazi Germany, of course, nowadays, Germany. But here to the term black. Right, to term black. The term black originated with the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, right, back in the 1930s. So we're saying that the origin of the term black, as in black Americans, is originally in the 1930s, the late 1930s, right? It became popular. It became, as they say, popping, right, in the late 60s, right? In the late 60s into the early 70s. Right? But the first seed, the seed, right, is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. And there's the link with Ethiopia. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? So we're going to show you some facts right here, some facts and some stats and some data on this very important subject matter, right? Very important. So when Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, he's the one who had proposed and pushed for the new terminology of African Americans. It was like a kind of a way to kind of unite black people, with the continent Africa. Now, Africa has like 54, maybe 55, I think 54. I don't know the status of South Sudan, right? South Sudan, but it has like 54 countries, right? 54 countries. Right? And we say countries, we're saying just in the time of the nations, time of the nation states. It's a whole issue about nations and nation states. And we talk about black nationalism and nation states, right? And when we talk about nationalism over here in America, right, as blacks and black power, notice the importance of capitalized black, right? We as black people, right? So I was going to go to the Bible to show you the second popular terminology in history to identify from a European or so-called white perspective. So we're just speaking about in terms of the modern world, which is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant world system, right? The Anglo so-called American world system, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant world system of today, right? The original term from their perspective to identify us, right, was as Ethiopians. In fact, Tacitus, the Roman historian, said that the Jews, right, the Jews of his time were of the prolem Ethiopiacum. That's a Latin phrase, prolem Ethiopiacum, but basically means of the seed, right? Some say the seed or the race of the Ethiopians. So look at that right there. Tacitus, right, in his annals of history, right? He was an ancient Roman historian. He said that the Jews, this is document, this is facts, right? These are the facts that they establish, Western, with the Western civilization based on these facts, like ones like Tacitus, a Roman historian, right? Saying that the Jews of his time were of the prolem Ethiopiacum. All right, so this is why the term Ethiopian in its true context, not the Zondervan Bible dictionary that many of the Hebrew Israelites are on, right? Because that is a later on propaganda, right? It has some facts there, but it twists it, it twists it, right? Because the term Negro, right, was identified as being Ethiopian. We can go to the dictionaries, right? Going back hundreds, at least 100 to 200 years to show the evidence. Like, how do we get to these terms today? We can't just hopscotch over history. We have to see how the history is documented, like from then, right, to the best of our ability to right now. So let's deal with the term Niger or nigger. This is what some say, well, nigger, right? Niger. See the pronunciation, Nigger or Niger. Here we go. So you see, our search here is Niger. Now we know that over here they spell it as Nigger. Now they play around with this G. Is a G a G sound, or is a G a J sound? I thought the J sound is a J. You see, so they confuse it, right? In their English, the English language is a very tricky language to spell. That's what they call it, spells. They put people on the spell, right? Because of the spelling, right? And spelled this way, but they tell you to say it that way. See that trick? Right? We're talking about the tricknology, right? Here, Acts of the Apostle, chapter 13, verse 1, it says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called, how we say that right there? That was called Niger, Niger, Niger. Niger was his name, or nigger? Niger was his name, or was it nigger? Right? The N-word. But this is the Bible. Here we go. Notice the phonetics. The phonetics suggested here as the phonetics, right? The Greek says nigger. Right? The Greek says nigger, right? Genesia, right? Monogenesis, not genesis, right? Genesis, get. So here, nigger. You see it very clear. Thayer definition says black, right? With the uncapitalized lowercase, the lowercase, right? See, we talk about capping. So we're going to cap, right? We got to cap this, right? Let's cap the black, right? But they uncap it. But you see what it says. Very simply, in case one's looking all over the place, let's do that right there. You see it right there. Niger, and black is his name or description right there. And they tell you right here it's of Latin origin. So if you know anything about history, first the Greeks, right? The Hellenistic, right? The Hellas, the children of Hellas, right? Known as the Greeks. Even in Greek culture, if you go all the way back to the roots, the Ionians, we see that they were melanated people, and some classify them as black people. So about the ancient, the original, right? The original Greeks and even the original Romans, the Etruscan people. But that's not our subject here. Just want to show once how so-called deep the so-called proverbial rabbit hole goes. Right? So it's a noun masculine. Right? Strong's definition, that was Thayer. Now Strong's definition says of Latin, the origin is black, uncapped. Right? They put the black as uncapped. But then they put the nigger, right? Nigger, right? Nigger, right? With a capital N. Was this the ancient N word? They say right here, a Christian. Right? They say a Christian. Right? That's what they say. They say a Christian. So you see where it says black. Let's highlight this right here for y'all. Let's highlight this as well, just so you can see that there. That's the origin, right? Of Latin origin. Right? So when we look at the historical terms for melanated people, right? So-called black people, also including, right, the historical Jews, the historical Yehudis, right? According to the Roman history and Tacitus, the Roman historian, when he says that the Jews of his time were of the prolem Ethiopiacum, right? Ethiopica. Right now, of course, Ethiopian is known as Kush, Kushi. Did you know that Kushi, right, over there in the state of Israel and other countries over there in the so-called Middle East, that the term Kush and Kushi means the same thing as nigger, right? Nigger is it's the K word. We talk about the N word, but over there, Kushi. So to call somebody a Kushi was to call somebody a nigger, even then and even today. These are facts. These are facts here that ones and ones try to suppress, right? They try to cover up. They try to ignore, but they are significant facts. Because before we can deal with today, because today is shaped by yesterday. It's just a basic fact of history, or more importantly, our story. So we have this one here, and Simeon, that was called nigger. Right, nigger. Now people say, "Oh no, it's Niger." No, it's nigger. Right? Do you know Koine Greek? Can you speak Koine Greek? I'm talking about the ancient Greek. Right? The ancient Greek is nigger. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's nigger. Right? Nigger. There we go, right there. You see the word. We went into it. Take note of it. G3526. The G3526. G3526. So we just wanted to bring that as one evidence right there. But let's look at the origin of the term black, as in Black American. The term Black American, and once again, hail up to Doggy Diamonds and others who are, on the grind concerning this very important subject matter, FBA, but even more importantly, who created hip hop? Something Doggy Diamond said, well, how could you create hip hop when you didn't even create salsa and reggae? Right? And also hail up to this guy, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Yeah. You just want to hail up that Jamaican guy. He called himself the Jamaican, he's the Jamaican Rasta, so-called Rasta. Remember, Rasta is an abbreviated term, right? That's abbreviation, right? That's broken. That's like broken from the roots, right? The roots is Rastafari. But what was his name? Badhorse, or whatever his name is. He did some videos where he even, kind of outlined that even the origin of reggae, I already knew this, but the origin of reggae, right, was by sampling, right, and kind of redoing, adapting Black American music, right? Black American music. So we're not saying that the Jamaicans didn't do anything, right? But we know that the inspiration, right, the inspiration came from Black America, came from those of us here in 400 plus years here in this North Country right here. The same ones who were called before Negro, right? See, Negro is the more kind of fuller Latin term, right? Let me go back over here for a moment. If you notice right here, they don't give us any roots. They say of Latin origin, but they don't go deeper, right? They have like a broken branch here. So nigger is related to the Latin word to describe black as negro, right? So this is why when we look at what we were called, our people were called over here, right, for over hundreds of years, at least maybe three, right, going into the 300 plus years, right? Because the 400 year would be like 2019, from 1619, from the best of the history, right? Just to have put a pin in it, right? 1619, right, to 2019. Interesting. That was right before the CV, Yeah, that whole CV, for the CV thing. You all know what that's about. We don't want to say that, but the 2020, what happened in 2020, the great pestilence, let's put it like that great pestilence that happened, right? Or the pestilence propaganda that happened. But that's not our subject matter. Our subject matter is black, capped, right? We capping, right? Is black capped, right? The origin of the term black. So we're saying on the record right here that the origin, the first ones, right, were those membership and founders of the organization known as the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, right, in 1937, right? We have documented evidence, right? Just as the United States Constitution says, we, right, we the people. What it says, we the people. There we go, right there. We the people, right? That's the Constitution, right? Constitution, right, of the United States of America, right? Well, let's look at the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Okay, here's the preamble. Let's go over here, right? Just for you to see this right here. Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, right? There we go. The General Working Constitution of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, right? That's Article 1, right? Article 1, right? And then we have the Article 2, right? And let's do this as well over here, right? Let's go over here, right? There we go. Ethiopian World Federation. This is, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of blurry right there, but this will be a little bit clearer right here, right? Just want to show you this right here where it says incorporated. Can't zoom in anymore. August 25th, 1937, by Dr. Malaku Bayan. He was a special emissary sent to Black America. Sent to what America? Black America. When? In 1937. I think some people got the Mandela effect. They call it the Mandela effect, right? Where, they are misremembering. Some people say misremembering history. This part of history, definitely, our story has been misremembered, right? You see the headquarters, New York, right? Here we go right here, Constitution and bylaws. But here, right? Here. You got to check out that book by J.A. Rogers. I think he's a Black American brother from Jamaica, the Caribbean, did a very good work, right? Some very good work. Nature Knows No Color Line and other works like that. But this is a very important work right there. Real facts, right? Real facts about Ethiopia, right? It's Likul but Talua, as they say. It's a small book, but it's very big. It's small but big, right? The Real Facts About Ethiopia by J.A. Rogers. Okay, here. This is from my desk right there. There's my hand. You see right there in the pic right there. So the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, Constitution and bylaws. When was it established? Right? August 25th, 1937. August, it didn't say 1967, it didn't say 1977. It says August 25th, 1937. There we go. Now on the other side is a compilation book that we had published concerning Dr. Malaku Emmanuel Bayan. He was a special emissary to Black America sent by the conquering line of the tribe of Judah by His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, King of Kings of Ethiopia, the elect of God. Right there. That's the man right there, Dr. Malaku Emmanuel Bayan, and that's the man right there, the King of Kings of Ethiopia, right? The elect of God, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, the anointed king upon the throne of great King David, right? The Israelites, speaking about Israelites of Ethiopia, right? Of Ethiopia. Now notice something, the Kushi, right? The N-word over there in the state of Israel and in other Arab countries, they call Black people the N-word is actually the K-word, and it actually Kushi, which is say Ethiopian. This is another proof that Ethiopian originally meant, especially in the West, the Anglo-American hemisphere of this North country, America in the West, meant nigger or Negro, meant black, right? Black, and that is a historical fact. No cap, right? I say no cap because, you see how they like to put black and then they like to make it lowercase. Now, So we see we the people. This is United States Constitution. We the people. But they lie. They actually meant we the white people. But they didn't have the balls, right, to say we the white people. All right. They said we the people. Made people think like, oh, we're people too. But they said, no, you're not people, you animals. All right. There's another video about that Israeli TikToker spitting on that, that Israeli black boy, right? That Israeli white boy spitting, 14-year-old spitting on a 7-year-old Israeli black boy they call Ethiopian, right? The Ethiopian. You know why they say Ethiopian? Because they still are under that WS, right? They're still under the WS, right? Right? And they talk about the BS, black supremacy. No, they're under the WS, right? They got to get the BS, right? Here. So let's go over here. Here we go to the preamble. This is the preamble, right? This is the preamble, right? The preamble, right? The preamble is like before we even get in it, right? Of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, the preamble. What does the preamble say? Let's just line this up right here. The preamble says, we, the black peoples of the world. 1937, right? How many years before, what was it, 1960s? When exactly what year was it when Kwame Ture, aka Stokely Carmichael, at that civil rights rally, right? Or SNCC, maybe it was SNCC, the Southern, that whole thing right there. What was it, 60 something? It was 60s, late 60s something, right? All right, but that's like 30 years after this. Right? So this is the seed. This is the seed of the identification. And then when you look historically, as Black Americans, there were more historical achievements, right? To free and to equalize and to better things for our people when we identified ourselves as Black Americans. That's why I was so happy when I heard Doggy Diamonds, do what he did and speak on what he spoke and share what he shared, because I said, wow, I said, this is, it's catching on, I said, it's catching on. People are recognizing the same truth, that is like, we were like a so-called voice, like so-called crying in the wilderness, so to speak, right? But here it says, we, the black peoples of the world, in order to affect unity, solidarity, liberty, freedom, and self-determination, to secure justice and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage, do hereby establish and ordain this constitution for, right here it says the imperial, but actually in the original it's the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, right? Boom, right there. Yeah, over the years, there's been a lot of like tampering with the truth. So here we had to take a copy, of our Constitution book right here, just to show you our you can see it's kind of worn out, like the wear and tear of the book right there. But just for you to see that right there, and then go over here, right? This is the preamble that we showed you, but this is the original preamble. The other one said about what was it? The imperial. That's something that was some hijack that went on with some jakes, try to hijack it, right? But here's the original, we the black peoples of the world. So you see it right there. In order to affect unity, solidarity, liberty, freedom, and self-determination, secure justice, and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage. So note something right there, right? In the general identification with Africa, there's 54 countries right there, 54, right? And there's probably like at least double or triple or quadruple or maybe 10 times the number of different cultures and tribes and languages and all of that. This is where it can become confusing. Somebody says, I'm African. Right? It's a continent. Right? It's a continent, not a country. Africa's a continent, not a country. And there's like 54 countries. So it's like, what are we linking with? Right? Even in many of these countries and these tribes, how many tribes are there? There's tribes versus tribes. And, even in some country, tribes don't get along with each other. You know what I'm saying? But here, our ancestors, they were able to zoom in, right? Zoom into the root. Notice how they linked with Ethiopia and saying that Ethiopia, our divine heritage. We need to go to the Bible. We need to go to the Bible. Let's go to the Bible for a moment. So I want you to see the link right here, right? It says Ethiopian and Israel to point to our divine heritage. Link with the true biblical Israel. Here we go right here, right? Here we go right here. All right, there we go. Amos 9 and 7. All right, boom. Amos 9 and 7. Are ye, y'all not as the children of the Ethiopians, the B'nai Cushim? The B'nai Cushim, notice Cushi. All right. Go ask those over in the state of Israel, the European Jews, and even many of the black people know this. They've been called, no doubt, Cushi, right, by some, as to imply the N word, right? Cushi, right? Kushan, Kushi, what says their blackness, Kushi, right? Notice what it says, Kushi, Kushan. It's an adjective, Kushi, descendant of Kush, right? There we go. Let's go to that root right there, Kush. All right, Kush. You see here from the Hebrew, they define this as black. All right, a Benjamite. Notice what it says, a Benjamite, Yemen. Yemen is right next to Ethiopia. That's what Yemen means in Benjamin. Benjamin, Yemen. Check, right? Son of Ham, located in Africa, right? The people's descended from Cush, right? The land occupied by the descendants of Cush, southern parts, right? They say it's a foreign origin. Let's scroll down here, Cush, right? Or Kush, or Ethiopian, the name of the son of Ham, of Ham, of Kam, and of his territory. Also, you see what it says right here? Boom. Here's what you got to look at it. Also a what? Also an Israelite. You see the Israelite connection. So remember what Tacitus, right? That Tacitus, the Roman historian, said that, and he lived during that time, right? Concerning the siege of Jerusalem and the destruction, right, of the Second Temple, and the capture, enslavement, and the killing, what occurred in 70 AD. Very, very important for us who tie in with that particular history there, 70 AD, right? In that time period, right, to show in that time period, the chief, one of the main Roman historians, remember, it was the Romans who sieged Jerusalem and destroyed it and killed many of the Judahites, Judeans, the Jews, speaking about the black Jews, the Judeans, and sent many into captivity. Some had fled into parts of Arabia. Some had fled into East Africa. Some stayed in the East Africa. Some moved beyond the rivers, right? The rivers of Ethiopia, right? And they moved more westward. That's where we got caught up later on in the Trans-Ethiopian, right? Name change. They changed up the name from Ethiopian. It was the Ethiopian Ocean. Then they renamed the Ethiopian Ocean. Notice all this renaming they do with the continent of Africa called Ethiopia. Then they call it, Africa, right? But in the meantime, they call it Negro land. Right? They call parts of it Negro land, right? Then the same part, Negro land, is called like Ethiopia, like inferior. Then the east is called Ethiopia superior. Then the water is called the Ethiopian Ocean. Then they rename it, right, to call it the Transatlantic Ocean. Why do they do that? It's like they're trying to cover up something, right? But here, it says, are ye not as the children of B'nai Cushim unto me, O B'nai Yisrael? O children of Israel. Check. So when we say over here, right, our divine heritage, check, right, to secure justice and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage, do hereby establish and ordain this constitution for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. So this is from what period of time is this? This is, you see down here, right? This is, right, established August 25th, 1937, right? So who, in a sense, created, who and when was this term, right? Black, right? And notice over here, let's go over here. Notice over here that black right here, right? Black right here is capped, right? Black is capped. Right, so then we compare our constitution here, we the black peoples, right, of the world. We compare that with the United States Constitution. What does it say? It says we the peoples. But really, is it we the peoples? Right? Is it really we the peoples? They wasn't even honest in that. Right? Because as soon as our people say, okay, we the people, we're people too, we're Americans, so forth. They said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Right? Didn't they say, no, you're not? Oh, you don't know? They said, no, you're not. Right? At the same time, on the ground, they were identifying themselves as white. right? Even with the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant means there must have been a black Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And our historical research leads us to the evidence that there were black people even ruling up in Europe, even up in England, before they did the same WS conspiracies, white supremacist conspiracies that they're on us, that they still are doing, right? The same old, same old. Got to share this with you as well from a New York Times article here, Times Insider. And this is why we're capitalizing black. The Times has changed its style on the terms usage to better reflect a shared cultural identity. Here's what led to that decision: capitalizing black. All right, let's just zoom in on this right here. Why we're capitalizing black. There we go. Why we're capitalizing black. Right to this. This is where we begin. Right. So just to show this particular article here, also to hail up Nancy Coleman. This was July 5th, 2020. Now notice what was going on in 2020. Right, 2020. Right, last time New York Times made a sweeping call to capitalize how it referred to people of African ancestry was nearly a century ago. A what? A century ago, 100 years ago. Right, and you could go into some more of the article here, and that was to capitalize the so-called N in Negro, right? The N in Negro. You see the connection? The Times turned him down in 1925 before coming around in 1930. Now, what happened in 1930? Well, the Rastafari Makonnen, the man named Rastafari Makonnen in Ethiopia, this man was born there. You know, Psalm 87 verse 4 says, with Ethiopia, this man was born there. This was born there. Im Kush, Zeyulad Sham. In the Hebrew, Im Kush, Zeyulad Sham. With Ethiopia, this implied this man was born there. So notice the Times turned W.B. Du Bois, right down in 1926 before coming around in 1930. And 1930 is the coronation, right, of the Rastafari, Negustafari, Rastafari Makonnen. Negus, right? That N word too, Negus. See how we resonate with that even today? Right? Hail up to what's the brother's name? Right?